Welcome classic rock fans to my list of 10 obscure prog albums you may or may not know. The term progressive rock means many things to many people. For some it's this wonderful flowering of musical virtuosity, creativity and conceptual ideas explored across two sides, sometimes four, of vinyl. For others, of course, it's just over-considered piffle. Either or, I thought it might be interesting on a channel that cuts its teeth often talking about progressive rock to look at 10 obscure prog albums you may or may not know. Number 10 is T2 and It'll All Work Out in Boomland from 1970. This debut album by this British progressive rock band T2 has just had a deluxe treatment. It's got to come out as a 3 CD version, which is worth checking out. But it really is a buried treasure of early British prog, blending heavy guitar riffs, soupy bass lines, and expansive and atmospheric songwriting. Released in 1970, the year that Pink Floyd brought us Atom Heart Mother and Genesis released Trespass, it showcases remarkable musicianship and ambitious arrangement as it fluctuates between more delicate stylings and sudden bursts of raw power. And the lyrics are whimsical and introspective, wrapped up in this cinematic music. Number 9 is Mellow Candle and Swaddling Songs from 1972. The year that brought us Close to the Edge, and Foxtrot for that matter. This is Irish prog, marked by haunting harmonies and intricate arrangements, and I love the song on this, The Poet and the Witch. But it does blend beautiful, ethereal vocal harmonies with folky inflections and it's quite intricate guitar work. With its evocative lyrics, it has this dreamy, mystical atmosphere which very much defines it. It had very limited commercial success, as you can imagine, but it's become a bit of a cult classic. And do check out the number Silver Song. What a fantastic number that is. Number 8 is their self-titled album Spring from 1970. This English prog band from the 1970s offer well-crafted symphonic soundscapes, and what makes them interesting I think is their blend of folk and certain other rock influences. Though fairly short-lived, I don't know how many albums they put out, but this one is certainly earmarked as being worth a listen. And sonically it's a pleasant, almost pastoral album to listen to, drawing their influences from very early Genesis and bands like Renaissance, and who knows, maybe even a bit of Fairport at a pinch. Their music combines rich mellotron textures, and we like those, don't we? Also evocative, poetic lyrics and time shifts that will have you spilling your cocoa. This remains an unprecedented little gem for prog enthusiasts, defined by its melodic storytelling. Check out the number Boats, lovely acoustic strum and great vocal performance. Number 7 is PFM and their album Per Un Amico. Please forgive me if I mispronounce that. This album came out in 1972. This is definitely prog royalty, which rubs shoulders with those classic albums that came out the same year. I've already mentioned Close to the Edge and Foxtrot. But replete with flute, harpsichord, and of course a legion of Italians. Epic, emotional, fusing symphonic ambitions with a kind of Mediterranean warmth. It is an unrecognised prog classic and sits quite comfortably next to bands like Genesis and King Crimson, and even Yes. Gorgeous hushed vocals and lush keyboards and drumming that punctuates and decorates the songs. These are packed with dynamic shifts to keep you on your toes, and lovely use of mellotron and delicately phrased guitar, especially in the opening track. Number 6 is Cathedral and Stained Glass Stories from 1978. At a time when the world was embracing the spit and nihilism of punk, we get this little gem. This is a brooding piece of American prog that doffs its cap to prog behemoths like Yes, although this explores a darker, more brooding atmosphere rather than the light spiritual waters that Yes like to dip their toes in. The song structures are interesting as they weave and meander in their sort of labyrinthine progness. Lovely use of mellotron, I'll probably say that quite a lot in this video, with some delicate, intricate guitar work reminiscent of Andy Latimer from Camel. It is certainly a gem worth polishing, and it's kind kind of garnered a cult-like status for its ambition and its intensity, as well as the possibility of ever actually finding a physical copy of this record. Number 5 is Pavlovs Dog and Pampered Menial from 1975. This album by Pavlovs Dog is a unique blend, as they all are, of symphonic prog glam and art rock. The vocalist Dave Surkamp has this histrionic, almost dog whistle type vocals with a quite extreme vibrato at times, which of course may not be everyone's cup of herbal tea. Certainly adds a level of theatricality to the proceedings. Lush mellotron, melodic guitars, all creates a drama, especially combined with that voice. But we mustn't let their stylings distract us from the fact that the songwriting is excellent, evoking a very specific atmosphere, I think. At the very least, it's certainly an interesting listen. I mean, check out the track Julia, by the way. Love that number. Number 4 is Clear Light and Clear Light Symphony from 1975. Clear Light Symphony starts with a stentorian piano sound, which very much takes us on a journey blending symphonic prog with psychedelia. This has a very French feel to it, as it contains many members from Gong. Although it flows well and it's not as jarring as Gong, with lots of nice lush keyboards and ambient textures, and gorgeous guitar phrasing that creates a meditative, otherworldly, slightly French atmosphere. Divided into 2 movements, my preference is for movement 2, which starts off with this beautiful mellotron sound and this yawn of cello. Number 3 is Nidralog and Lady Lake from 1972. I think that's how you pronounce their name. Lady Lake and the name of this band, it just oozes progness. In 1972, when Yes were close to the edge, this band just leap into the void with this frenetic and eclectic prog gem. A prog omelette with all the usual ingredients, a mad name, mystical title, men with grass-stained knees, and a blending of jazz, folk and classical influences. But it's this band's unusual instrumentation that helps this album to stand out. Lots of windy things. So we get a wheeze of oboe and flute, Peruvian nose harps abound, as well as a cello. Not that that's a wind instrument, but nevertheless it fits in well. And the vocals swing between tender and heartfelt to this sort of almost dramatic prog yop. Its complex possesses lyrical depth, and one's certainly worthy of my collection. Love the sax on Ship and the arpeggio guitar at the start of Dog with No Collar. Number 2 is Commerce and First Utterance from 1972. This was released on Prog, Mellotrons and Capes. We're in the Ascendancy. It's a chilling, hypnotic blend of psych folk and avant-garde prog. The vocals are feral, accompanied by this eerie acoustic instrumentation, as well as its rather twisted lyrics. It feels like a pagan fever dream, certainly influenced by Gong, Gentle Giant and Frank Zappa. It's battier than the proverbial box of frogs. Violin, flute and percussive guitar conjure a dark, woodland ritual atmosphere, like the Teddy Bear's Picnic, but with 10-minute keyboard solos thrown in for good measure. It is indeed rather lovely, but bloody unsettling to say the least. This is a blend of folk and progressive rock that has to be heard, if only once. The standout track for me is Diana. Number 1 is Happy the Man, their self-titled album from 1977. This is very much an overlooked debut, which was released at a time when the country was pogoing away to anarchy in the UK. And we get this band that pushes out this dazzling showcase for American symphonic prog. It's refined, it's imaginative, and more importantly, it's a little bit bonkers. Mostly instrumental, it draws heavily on jazz fusion, classical influences with complex rhythms. It also has soaring melodies and rich textural elements which would rival their British counterparts. It starts off with this jangle of keyboards, which is a little bit Styxian, I think. It gets a wonderful wash of keyboards before things get a bit heavier, a bit King Crimson-y, I think, especially with the track, the wonderfully titled Stumpy Meets the Firecracker in the Stencil Forest. Marvellous stuff. So there you are, that's 10 prog albums you've probably never heard and probably never want to hear. If you've enjoyed this video, please do share it. Click like, subscribe, check that notification bell, do all that stuff. I think I've said this. So I'll just leave you with my closing salvo, which is hope you're well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.